Welcome back, my sweet dear friends. My name is Emmy. This is the channel Frugal Money Saver. My husband Paul is behind the camera and we welcome you. This is a channel basically devoted to living a more abundant life using less money. We are an early retirement, debt-free, mortgage-free couple living in the state of New York. We are just thrilled to share today's video with you. What we have been talking about lately is the rising cost of everything and how, despite these rising costs, we are still plugging on, we are still living the absolute best life we have, and we are enjoying every minute of it. And making good, delicious, hearty meals is one way to do that. We created such fun dishes. We made a main dish, we made a side dish, and we made a dessert using bits and pieces of what needed to be used up in our refrigerator, our pantry, and our freezer. So I hope you find this video encouraging and that it will just make mealtime and meal prep just so much easier for you. I also wanted to let you know I finished categorizing all the different subtopics of our videos according to recipes in our playlist. So just click on that playlist and any videos that have recipes are now categorized by like main meal, dessert, side dishes, veggies, etc. And every time now I upload a new video, I'll automatically put it into that category for you. So I hope that is helpful. I know so many of you said thank you, and I do appreciate that. Took me a little bit of time, but I think we've got it down now. Let's get into the kitchen right now and see the ingredients we're going to be working with. You're going to look at it again and be like, okay, Em, what's up now? But I think you will be pleasantly surprised at what Paul and I came up with. Any recipes that we did use will be linked down below in our description box. Let's get into the kitchen, see what we're working with. Well, it's time for another Zero Food Waste, Use Up What You Have video. So what do we have? We have a orange supreme cake mix that needs to be used up, about a cup of mashed potatoes, and we've got about 1/3 cup of sugar. We've got a cup of cooked rice. We've got some cheese that we have to use up. You all remember the pepper jack cheese we bought on clearance. Got a little tiny piece of steak. Do you remember the blueberries we bought on our last haul? We paid 88 cents, I think, for the blueberries, 88 or 99 for a pint. And then I did have some frozen, so I added about another 1/2 cup or so. So that's almost 4 cups of berries. Got a stick of butter, 2 eggs, and a pack of 99-cent Asian stir fry. This is what we're going to use aside from maybe some seasonings and some oil. And we are going to create a main dish, a side dish, and a huge dessert that probably could feed 12 at least with these minimal ingredients. So stick around. This is going to be so much fun. In this recipe, we're going to be using our leftover mashed potatoes, our 2 eggs, some cheese, and probably a little bit of seasoning. What we're going to make is some potato puffs. So I'm going to say that's a little over a cup of mashed potatoes. And I'm going to add our 2 eggs to the mashed potatoes. I'm excited to try these. I'm always looking for ways to change up mashed potatoes. And this one looked really good. And then I am going to grate in about 1/2 cup of cheese. Use whatever kind of cheese you have on hand. We just happen to have the pepper jack, so that's what we're using. But whatever you have, this is a perfect way to use up those little bits and pieces in our refrigerator. We're going to add some ground black pepper. We're going to add a little bit of garlic, and we're going to add some onion powder. You could have mixed the eggs up ahead of time, but I'm just doing it like this. And we're going to mix this all together. I greased the 6 middle muffin tins. It's just a regular size muffin tin. If it makes more, I will grease more, but I'm going to put it in about 3/4 of the way full. And it's all about, with the prices being what they are today, just making the most of our money. Stretching it any way we can, even if it means being creative with leftovers. I have another muffin here, so I am going to grease another tin. You know, I always keep my butter wrapper. When we finish a stick of butter, the wrapper goes into a plastic bag in the refrigerator. And when I need to grease something, I pull it out because there is a ton of butter left on those wrappers. Now, we used a half a cup of cheese in the recipe, and I have a little bit extra, so what I'm going to do is just put a little on top. You do not have to do this. If you don't have that extra cheese, then just use what you have. But we have a little bit extra. Now, if you wanted to get fancy, you could add bacon to this, but we are not going to cook extra bacon because that's a waste right now. We don't need to. These will have more than enough flavor. I'm going to put these in a 400-degree oven, and I am going to cook them for about 30 minutes, and we'll check them then. Look at these delicious little puffs of goodness. Actually, I am super excited about this, honestly. These cooked for 30 minutes. Then they cooled in the pan for 7 minutes. Now I'm going to remove them and put them on a wire rack. They popped right out of the pan. You can see they didn't stick. They look really good. I'm going to take one and let's see what the inside looks like. Oh, they're a little crisp on the outside. Oh my goodness, look at this. They are light in the middle. I would tell you to pair this with a little dollop of sour cream if you have it. Not only would these make an incredible side dish, but I think an appetizer as well. Or actually, with a salad, this would make an amazing main meal. 2 of these with a nice big salad, you're good to go. What a great economical way to use up some leftover mashed potatoes. So while those amazing little mashed potato puffs are cooking in the oven, we went ahead with our main meal. Here it is. Take a look. It was so good. Here it is. All right, our main meal is going to be a very simple stir fry. And what's so great about these kind of meals, anything can go into them. You can stretch them, they serve many people, you can bulk them up, and they taste wonderful. So in this, I've got a cup of cold cooked rice. This is leftover rice. The best way to make stir fry rice is with cold rice. I don't know if you've ever made a stir fry with warm rice. It becomes mushy, and we don't want mushy rice in our stir fry. So this is a cup of cold cooked rice. We have a bag of Asian stir-fry vegetables. It's got broccoli, carrots, onions, red peppers, little baby corns, water chestnuts, and mushrooms. 99 cents a bag this was. But you have mixed vegetables, you have fresh carrots, celery, and onion, whatever. Any kind of vegetables can be used in this. And then we have a tiny little piece of steak left over. We're going to slice it real thin, and we're going to add a little extra protein to this meal. And with a little bit of seasonings, this is going to be over the top. We slice the meat super thin. You don't even have to add meat to this. You could literally do vegetables and rice. But we had this little bit. We're using it up. You could use leftover chicken. A lot of people add egg, scrambled egg, to their fried rice. But we're just going to keep it super simple. Use what we have. I just melted a teaspoon of butter in this pan for my stir fry. You could use regular oil, you could use olive oil, whatever you want. I believe the butter just gives that rice such a delicious taste. We're going to heat that up really well. Now I'm going to add the bag of vegetables right in, frozen. This was such a great deal for 99 cents. We're just going to saute these. You don't even have to defrost them. So I'm going to cook these down for a few minutes until they're defrosted and crisp tender. I'm going to move my veggies to the side. I'm just adding about another teaspoon of butter or so. I'm going to add our rice. And you can see how the rice separates. See how it's separated and not all clumped together? We're going to mix this all together now. And you can add more rice, whatever you need. We're going to let that heat up. We have the rice, the vegetables. Now we're adding our cut up steak. And we're gonna just heat this through because the steak is already cooked. Now we're gonna do a little seasoning. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of tamari sauce, which is almost the same exact thing as soy sauce. Add a little garlic powder. You could even have added fresh garlic, absolutely. Onion powder. And then to give it that really good oriental taste, we're gonna add a little bit ground ginger, just a little bit. Oh, it smells like restaurant right now in here, doesn't it, Paul?
Yeah, it smells great.
Now you can adjust the seasonings to taste, and you can see how that rice is not clumping together. For a finishing touch, and I would not expect a lot of you to have this in your home, and it is very expensive. But Paul loves this, so I am just going to add a touch of the Japanese sesame oil, literally just for flavor. But you don't need that at all. You could even add toasted sesame seeds to this. Look in your spice cabinet. See what's in there. Make it unique. Make it your own. I would say this is done. Because we are real and we keep this channel real, hey, we are serving our mashed potato puff with our Oriental stir fry. And why not? Simple ingredients. Things we had in the house. Healthy ingredients. You can do so much if you just get creative with the bits and pieces you have in your refrigerator. This way we don't waste food. Food doesn't go bad. Complete meal. And now stay tuned for dessert. We're gonna make a dump cake. I've never made this before, so we're gonna do this together. And this is gonna be a little bit different than what people normally make. This was the fresh blueberries mixed with the frozen. I'm using up what I have. We'll see how this works, but that's the whole point. It can't be bad. It's gonna be delicious. I've got my 1/3 cup of sugar, which I'm gonna put over the blueberries. That seems like an awful lot of sugar. Paul will taste it and tell you if you should use the whole 1/3 cup. And I'm just gonna put a little cinnamon on the blueberries. And we're gonna give this a good mix. I'm looking at this thinking a 1/3 cup may be a lot of sugar. It actually called for a 1/2 cup. But what do you think, Paul?
No, I think it's perfect. The amount of sugar looks perfect. I could eat this just the way it is. You could skip all the steps and here it is. We're done.
Oh my God. You know what, people? This is what I live with. And then in this bowl, I am taking my orange cake mix because that's what I have to use up. Again, how bad can it be? This is a 15.25 ounce box. And then I'm going to take my stick of butter and I'm just going to grate the butter right into this cake mix. Remember, I always tell you this, if you grate your butter like this, watch your fingers, don't let it get down too low. And that's what I'm doing. This is a cold butter. Now what I'm doing is just taking my fingers and breaking up that butter throughout the orange cake mix. Again, I have never made this. It smells like a creamsicle, doesn't it, Paul?
Yeah, it does.
Now they said to use a white cake mix, so I would say whatever flavor you had that you think would go with blueberries, awesome. You know me, it's use up what you have. If this comes out good, this would be a great holiday recipe. Now I'm gonna take this, and what I'm gonna do is sprinkle it all over our blueberries. Okay, that's all there is to it. We're done. How about that? We are done. Just crumbling up that butter a little bit. Now I am gonna put this in a 350-degree oven and let that cook for 30 minutes. Let's see how it is. Look at this bubbling goodness. It was in for 30 minutes, but it didn't look like it was done to us. So I put it in for 10 more minutes. And now this looks like it is perfect. We're gonna let it cool for a while and then we'll take a taste. This was so easy, and if it tastes as good as it smells, we're in for a real treat. We let this cool for just about 30 minutes. Now we're gonna cut cut into it. It's super soft. Oh wow, that looks really good. It's like a cobbler crumble kind of dessert. So it's not going to be like this perfectly formed cake because that's not what it is. It has no egg in it. This was such an easy dessert to make. And look how much it made. Some blueberries, box of cake mix, and some butter. That's all there was. All right, Paul's going to take a bite.
Yeah, this is delicious.
Is it really good?
Oh yeah, this is great. This is great. You got a little bit of that orange flavor in the cake and the blueberry. It actually works. You could put ice cream on this.
Is it too sweet?
No, it's a dessert. It's awesome.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's sweet, but it's got the tang from the blueberries that cuts the sugar, but it's sweet. It's delicious.
All right.
Nice job. Thank you.
So this is a win. That dessert was so amazing. What I'm going to tell you is the original recipe said to use melted butter. Don't use melted butter. Use that cold butter and grate it. Watch your little fingers. And that spreads it out and just makes that topping of the cake mix so buttery, so delicious. So make sure you do not melt the butter. Use it just cold and grated. Mix it in like that. You'll be so pleased. With the little potato puffs, we did put a little sour cream on them. Stand back, so good. The whole meal was delicious. You saw how little time it took to prepare everything. Honestly, it took minimal amounts of time. We used a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and how delicious everything turned out. The stir fry was over the top. I know some of you are scratching your head saying butter in a stir fry. That richness of the butter loans itself to the rice, and then those flavors just meld together. It was really good, honestly. So I hope this video was encouraging to you. What I want you to do is get into that kitchen of yours. Look through your refrigerator. Half bags of frozen veggies in the freezer. Leftover pieces of meat or protein that you may have. Please let me know specifically what you do with your leftovers. Let me know, what do you use your leftovers for? Extra potatoes or rice or veggies, whatever it may be that you have left over, what do you turn them into? Let me know. I would love to be able to see that, and you as well will encourage us, which we always love. So thank you for spending this time with us. We pray you have a blessed weekend. Enjoy this beautiful autumn weather. We're having it here in New York, though next week I think it's going to be a little rainy, so we're going to take it while we can. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Please give this a big thumbs up, and don't forget a comment what kind of recipes you use your leftovers in. Remember, please stay safe, be well. We love you so much, but you know that already, right? And above all, we wish you blessings. Until our next video, bye-bye.